But I do always remember my mom, whenever I asked her where Dad was, she wouldn't say that he's at work. She said that he was out helping people. And then on top of that, what validated it when we would come to convention, and after, usually, because I'm standing at the registration and walking in and out or whatever, a lot of people would stop me and say, Alicia, thank you so much. I love your dad so much because he really helped me and my family. And so therefore, my mom wasn't lying, basically. But and then I grew up, and in high school, I knew that this is something I wanted to do long term. I thought I wanted to do it after my own career, though. Maybe for a number of reasons. Partially, I think what Scott said yesterday about not always wanting to do what your parents do, having a little bit of your own identity, and I also just thought it was the normal thing to do. Everybody comes on stage and they say, I used to be an engineer, I used to be a social worker, and now I do WFG. So I thought I was supposed to do something else and then do WFG. But in 2008, which is the year before I graduated from school, I saw the whole world change right in front of me. I had relatives and my aunts and uncles, that worked at companies for 15, 20 years. And all of a sudden, their financial situation changed. I went to a private school in California, and with tuition being at $30,000 a year, I suddenly had people in junior or senior year had to go to a school that had less tuition so that parents could afford it. I saw everything change right in front of me. So that was a point personally where I made the decision that I didn't want to go into the traditional route, and it made me really more curious about truly what my parents did here in World Financial Group and World System Builder. And when a lot of people ask me, because I often get introduced as the person that doesn't need to do this business also. So I always get asked, why do I do this business? Because technically, a lot of people, Swan Nguyen could be my pension plan until like 80 years old, right? And I always tell people that there's honestly a million reasons. If I had to list them all, it would be like 100 pages long. But I'll say that of course, I think one of the biggest reasons was obviously because of my family. I saw that the last 30 years my mom and dad have put into this business, and I know it's not easy every time they have to go on a trip, every time they have to put on these conventions. On top of that, they have to worry about me and my brothers, just like many of you are worried about your kids while you're here today. Whether they're in the hotel room or somebody's taking care of them, they're at home, they're in school. I know it's not easy to try to plan a big convention like this, or a super trip, or a Giants program, and yet have to worry about all these other things at home. And so I really asked myself, what would happen if none of us did the business? What would that look like? What would it look like to you? Would your kids join the business? What would happen to WSB? All these questions through my head. And so probably now I've been in the business for 6 years, and I would say that, up until this moment, at least for me personally, even though I did do this business for myself, but it was a really small fraction of it, most of the reason why I did this business was, mainly maybe before my dad or for my mom and dad. And, sometimes that's why if anybody of you have parents or you have kids, when sometimes you feel like you do something for your mom or for your kids, and then sometimes you butt heads on this topic, it gets very intense, is that right? So, everybody looks at me and my dad like we're the perfect father-daughter couple, trust me. We've had our moments. And I think that's where sometimes frustration may be built in with each other because you feel like you're not doing this for yourself. And you're doing it for them, and they don't appreciate it, all these things back and forth, right? Have you ever felt that way with your family? Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm here to tell you up front, the father and daughter team, like we are just like each and every one of you. And even though myself personally, I've accomplished a lot in my first 6 years, and of course my dad, we all know, has accomplished so much in his 32 years being here. But I could tell you that this weekend, in my personal opinion, that finally my purpose and his purpose is exactly the same thing. And, we, as a family, we've accomplished so much, but it's all been in preparation for this moment right here, this weekend. That's why I've been talking a lot about preparation, about your discipline being here, about the next 2-3 days, having the right mindset. Because we finally understand what is our purpose of being here. And that I'm not here for my dad's not here for me, we are here for the community. We're here for the world. We're gonna make history. One day, our blue book will be in the hands of children. One day, our blue book will be in high schools. One day, our workshop will be a required course. That's what the revolution we're starting today. What if 30-something years ago, this industry only was for, or this company was only for people that had, 500, even 250,000 and above? My dad would not be here today. So although, yes, today I may have a lot of reasons not to do this business, but I will always remember the company, the system, and the team that gave my dad an opportunity, just like each and every one of you here today, to change his life, to change his family's life, and to change thousands of families of lives out there. Not just thousands, it's too small. Millions of families out there. So you can count on me, you can count on Nguyen family. We will be here because we found our purpose. We know that this is bigger than us. I will be here as long as I can, and I hope that you'll be with me along the way. And I know that WFG will be here, WSB will be here, and our education will always be here. All right? So can we make sure that we kick off this convention with the cause in our heart, and we stay focused, we stay disciplined, because when we have a cause, we don't get tired. Because we understand that there's always work to be done. Is that right? Let's make sure we're gonna take everything this weekend, and we're gonna go back to our family and friends at home, and we're gonna blanket the market. We're gonna let everybody know who World System Builder is, and we're gonna change the world. This convention is gonna go down in history, and little kids will learn about us when they grow up. Thank you very much.